What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today, you guessed it, we're talking about big soft plastic swim bait fishing, how we use them, what water temps we're throwing them in there. We got a ton of underwater footage, so stay tuned and we'll see you underwater, folks.
Alright guys, let's head underwater. The first thing we want to talk about is soft swim baits in the pre-spawn. You're throwing them just like a spinnerbait. Anywhere you would throw a spinnerbait, you can throw that big swim bait. Now, up first we have the Hud right here, the 6-inch. I really like this bait in cold water. One, because it has the vortex tail. It's very subtle. In 30, 40 degree water temps, the Hud is going to get the call. You want to chuck this bait like a spinnerbait. Essentially, if you're not really skilled with the swim bait and you're new to the game, it's not an expensive bait, but it's gonna get bit. It's got that nice subtle tail kick. It excels in cold water. You can also fish this bait like a jig on the bottom, drag it along. You're gonna get big bites with this. Now, the bites on a Hud are gonna feel like a tick because those fish are gonna come in and trap it on the bottom, or they're going to come in and totally inhale the bait. If you feel something, you gotta swing on it. Same thing here in a grass lake. I'm going to throw the 68 Special, especially in perch colors up north. This is the 8-inch tail on the 6-inch bait, and I really enjoy throwing this bait because one, it's going to get big bites, but two, it comes through everything that you can think of and imagine. It's got that vortex tail, so it's really good in cold water. It doesn't displace too much water. So the Huds are really good in clear water, dragging on the bottom, fishing just like a spinnerbait for all intents and purposes. The third bait that I like to turn to in cold water is the Berkley Havoc Gilly. One, because it's a mix between a flat tail and a vortex tail, and two, it just is very, very realistic, and I really like to specially rig this. I'm going to show you the rigging that I use right here.
With a straight shank worm hook all the way through here. And this one's got a keeper on it. I know you can see it there. It's the Berkley Fusion flipping hook. It's got that nice metal keeper on it. We're gonna rig it straight through the body like that. We're gonna add a 1/64 ounce nail weight right in the belly like this. So it's gonna run pretty much just like a real bluegill would run, and it's not overpowered. So let's get this thing rigged up here. First thing I wanna do is I wanna find that belly slot right there. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna rig this as straight as possible in the belly of this bait. And as I go in, I want to make sure I'm taking my time and I'm rigging it straight so it's going to run true, right? As soon as I get it all the way in, I'm going to pull back and kind of push this in just to make sure that it's staying straight in that bait, just like that. That way you don't see anything on it and it's going to come through perfect. Right, so it's gonna swim right now. Now we're gonna take this flipping hook and we're gonna rig it through. And I want it to come out pretty much in that hook gap right there. So take it, run it through really straight. There's kind of an empty pocket in there as you come through. You wanna just make sure that that hook point is staying true and in that pocket, because you want this bait to run straight as an arrow. And as you come through, see how that runs like that? It's in that hook pocket there. So it's running straight into that bait. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna press in and down as I go. And then I run that nose of that hook straight through there and down. And now you have a perfectly rigged bluegill that's going to swim great. And this is all meat right there. They're gonna catch that first. As they come in and hit that bait, boom, it's gonna run true as an arrow on that, and it's flipping hook. You ain't gonna bend that out, so there you go.
Now as the water warms up from the 40s into that 48, 49, 50 degree range, I'm gonna move from the vortex tail or the flat tail into the traditional boot tail. And these are your swim baits that are spinner baits. Effectively, you have the Dangerous Swimbait here from Bass Mafia. It's a killer. It's got a nice head shake, a good body roll. It comes through cover extremely well. I really have a lot of trust in swim baits like this. because it is literally going to get you a bigger bite than a spinnerbait a lot of times. And it's a bait that a lot of guys up north are not throwing. Most guys are not throwing 6 to 8 inch swim baits, but the pre-spawn is the time when you can throw that big bait with a body roll and the head wheel on it and catch fish consistently. This bait is going to do a lot of damage for me this year in the pre-spawn because I'm targeting bigger fish. I'm looking for that bait that comes through everything, as you can see here, and it's got a nice transparent body. That cannot be understated enough, especially in clear water situations. The transparency on this bait is huge because a lot of bait fish this time of year are pale from coming in from cold water, and the transparency on this and the weedless nature of this bait is superior at getting bit in that situation. Up next here we have the Megabass Magdraft, which is the gold standard for 6 and 8 inch swim baits right now on the market. I really like throwing this bait because it has a very good head wobble and shake. It also has a very, very transparent body, which is huge. But the advantage of throwing the Dangerous Swimbait, the Magdraft, is once again it's going to be drawing power and it's going to pull a bigger bite in, right? A lot of guys throw chatterbaits, a lot of guys throw spinnerbaits, a lot of guys throw swim jigs. The big swim bait is a bait that bass have not seen. I'm a big believer in being different than what most guys are doing. The Magdraft around bait schools, the Dangerous around bait schools are unmatched. The body wobble and shake on this bait is fantastic. You can throw it in off-colored water. You can throw it in clear water. You just have to kind of have faith and lock it in your hand, and then when you start catching fish, it's one of those baits that's really hard to put down, right? The big swim bait, especially up here, can really generate bites when nothing else will, or bass have seen everything under the sun, because not a lot of guys are throwing the swim bait on deck. Now, as you can see here, this bait excels in clear water. It also excels in that pre-spawn period when fish are seeing a lot of lures. And one of those reasons is that head shake on it. Here's some good shots of the head shake on the Magdraft. The Dangerous the same way. It's got a very, very, very stable swim. It's also a very, very, very active swim. So when the water is warming, it's really good. Here's a bait that I'm really excited about. It's a bait that I haven't thrown yet this year. This is the new Coal Shad from Berkeley. And the thing that I like about this is the body wiggle and shake, but also it has a very pronounced wiggle to it. More so than the Magdraft, more so than the Dangerous. And I really feel like as bass get closer to locking down on beds, this bait is going to shine. I'm also super excited about fishing this bait around docks, under pontoons. In a lot of areas it has a very active swim and roll to it. I feel like this bait is going to excel. It also has slots on the bottom where you can add nail weights to fish it deeper. I like the interchangeability of this bait. I also enjoy putting scent in those cavities on the bait. If you take, your scent and rub it into those cavities, it's going to hold that scent and retain it much longer. And I'm really, really, really excited about this bait in particular in the pre-spawn. The head shake and wobble on it is just about perfect in my estimation. So I'm look forward to more videos on the Coal Shad as we go through, because it's just got that stable swim, but it's got a nice big thump to it. You can feel it when you're reeling it in, just like you can feel the thump on the Magdraft. You can really feel this bait thump. The white color is fantastic to throw in off-colored water and clear color alone. I've got 4 different colors of this swim bait. I'm really excited to see what they look like. Now, the weedless nature of it could be challenging because it's got that big belly treble hook, but the same thing with the Magdraft. You throw it everywhere you throw a spinnerbait, and you're gonna catch fish, and you're gonna get bigger than average fish. It'll also pull fish out from cover. The big thing about the swim bait is a lot of regular baits aren't gonna move fish from cover. A swim bait is a good tool to show you where fish are and pull them out of cover because they're going to follow it. It's a big bait, it's a big meal. I've seen a ton of fish follow swim baits out from docks, out from cover, because they're interested to it. Now, the last swim bait that I'm going to pick up here is a specialty swim bait for me. I got a bunch of these. I got like 20 packs of these like 3 years ago. It's the Zoom Swimmer, and it's a boot tail. Effectively, it's like a Bastrix swim bait. But I really enjoy these, throwing them on an 1/8 ounce weighted belly head because they ride high in the column. Fishing early season grass, shallow water, where those bass are going to come in to spawn, this bait will kick and roll high over it. It's got that transparency that I look for in swim baits this part of the year, but it rides high in the column, even on a keel weighted hook. It's going to ride high. It's got a nice body roll and shake. I also like to overweight this swim bait on a heavy jig head and fish it on the ledges and fish it on the deep grass as summer progresses. It's just a bait that a lot of guys aren't throwing. We don't see a lot of guys up here in the northern part of the Midwest throwing hollow body swimmers. This is more a southern thing, and I'm telling you right now, I've got some huge bites on this bait. It also looks very good in the water. It's got that nice kill spot on it. But once again, it rides high in the column in the spring, which is an advantage if I'm fishing shallow and channels over heavy vegetation. Give it a try. You're really going to like throwing these swim baits.
All right, guys, hopefully you enjoyed that underwater footage of those big swim baits, right? From the Hud to the 68 Special, all the way through the Magdraft and the Zal Dangerous and the Coal Shad, right? Really excited about some new baits hitting this market. Post-spawn, pre-spawn, swim baits are going to do a really, really good job. The water temp that you're fishing them, if you pay attention to that, you're gonna do even better. And using the correct tool for the correct time is also huge, guys. So hopefully you enjoyed today's video. If you did, like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment in the comment section, let us know. We're gonna do a whole bunch more community posts. Stay tuned for those. Thanks for hanging out with us today, guys. We'll see you out there next time.